Guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, we have to talk about several stories, several names from the World Cup to the pitch, many movements, many news, and so we are ready to jump into it together. And here we are guys, with many updates, many stories, many things to explain to you, to enter into details. As always, remember guys, to be part of the family, to like this video, turn on the notification bell. Every day, plenty of news, plenty of stories. And here we are with a new video. Where we want to start? I want to start from a news coming about players who are now at the World Cup. Leandro Trossard has been big part of the Belgium comeback in their last game against Senegal. Leandro Trossard is always a fantastic professional, a great winger, a player who is super appreciated by his coaches because he's very serious, he's very concrete, and so the kind of ideal player to have in a squad. But Leandro Trossard could have chances to leave Arsenal in the summer transfer window, because the news of the day is that Arsenal and Besiktas have reached an agreement for Leandro Trossard. The Turkish club has everything in place with Arsenal. The deal is done for 18 million euros plus 2 in add-ons. So, club to club ready, now waiting on Leandro Trossard to agree personal terms with Besiktas. And for Besiktas, this is kind of obsession, because Besiktas tried to sign Trossard already 1 year ago, then tried again in January, then trying again now. They really love Trossard, they want him at all cost, but now depends on the player. My understanding is that the delegation of Besiktas could fly to the United States in the next hours to try and meet with Leandro Trossard, present the project and accelerate the process. Trossard wants to decide only after the World Cup, so we have to be patient on this one, but Besiktas really want Trossard, and this could be helpful for Arsenal, obviously, to free some space up front and bring in a new winger. We know they will sign a new winger at Arsenal with Morgan Rogers top target, Barcola under consideration at Arsenal, and don't forget Liverpool as well. So we will have plenty of things to say about wingers in the next videos. Talking about players who are at the World Cup, we also have to mention Manzambi, this very talented player from Switzerland. 5 goal contributions, scoring, providing assists, one of the most interesting talents appearing on scene from the 2026 World Cup. For Manzambi, what I can tell you is that Newcastle are preparing their first official bid. They already had some contacts on player side over the recent weeks. Newcastle were already scouting the player, then the exploits having at the World Cup is obviously contributing to accelerate the process. Freiburg are going to ask for important money, so it's not going to be a cheap deal. But Newcastle love to get players from Germany, and in a surprising way. They did that with Foltemade, closed in 24 hours. They did that with Basumana Touré, closed in 24 hours. And now they are trying the same also with Manzambi from Freiburg. So the Switzerland talent is a top target for Newcastle. Again, we have to see, because Freiburg want to wait a little bit. Why the deal was not closed this fast? Because Freiburg want to wait to ask more money, game after game, and also because they feel that maybe other clubs could join the race if the player keeps performing well. But Newcastle are ready to push. Then, talking about Switzerland, just a quick update on Granit Xhaka. As of today, guys, 24 hours more have passed, and Sunderland are very clear. Sunderland don't make it a price question. So for Sunderland, Granit Xhaka is not about 8 million pounds, 12 million pounds, 30 million pounds, 20 million pounds. Sunderland told Xhaka they absolutely want to keep him. That's the message coming from Sunderland, and they don't want to open doors to any sort of negotiation. So as of today, the Xhaka story is absolutely not moving, because Chelsea keep thinking about Xhaka. Xabi Alonso keep dreaming of having Xhaka at the club, but the message from Sunderland is quite clear. They absolutely don't want to let him go. So at the moment, we have to consider the negotiation off, because the story is not developing on Sunderland's side. They are not opening doors at any price, so it's not about the money. And at the moment, everything is off. Chelsea keep considering the possibility to reactivate this maybe later on if Sunderland could open doors, but at the moment I can guarantee, guys, Sunderland have no intention at all to let Granit Xhaka go. So at the moment it's a story that we have to consider on total cold. Then talking about Chelsea, guys, just quickly I wanted to mention this. I'm talking about Real Madrid, on Enzo Fernandez. First of all, I told you in the video yesterday, I can confirm Manchester City, despite reports today, after Real Madrid did the statement saying, we are not signing Enzo Fernandez, now the media rumors are about Manchester City. At the moment, Manchester City are not in conversation for Enzo Fernandez, I can guarantee that. But also, on Enzo Fernandez, guys, what's the difference between the two statements from Real Madrid? On Michael Olise, Real Madrid never mentioned anything like we are not going to sign the player, something like that. On Enzo Fernandez, Real Madrid made very clear that they are not going to sign Enzo. The difference is that for Enzo, Real Madrid never started any sort of conversation. So Real Madrid are not interested in Enzo Fernandez. On Olise, Real Madrid wanted to make clear that, in a different way, that they are not negotiating with Olise, they are not in talks with the agents of Michael Olise or with Bayern, out of respect for Bayern. So for Enzo Fernandez, the message is, we don't want the player, we will not sign the player. For Olise, the message is, we are not in negotiations. And Real Madrid wanted to communicate that to make sure the relationship with Bayern remains good. But Real Madrid love Olise. It's very different. For Olise, Real Madrid really appreciate the player, and Florentino Perez loves Olise. So the appreciation for Olise remains. Then Bayern don't want to sell the player, so at the moment that's it, no developments. But the two statements are very different. For Olise, Real Madrid have an appreciation, love the player, but are not negotiating. Real Madrid wanted to clarify, nothing club to player, no personal terms. There were reports, personal terms agreed, Olise and Real Madrid. That's not the case, because Real Madrid wanted to make sure Bayern were not upset. So Real Madrid keep thinking of Olise for present, for future, whenever there could be a possibility, because Florentino loves him. But at the moment, the message from Bayern is also very clear. But it's very different statement compared to Enzo Fernandez. Then, two more things I wanted to add for you today, guys, about midfielders. One is about Ederson. Many questions on why Man United are not making official Ederson yet. Because they have a verbal agreement with Atalanta. So the two clubs have an agreement since 1 month ago. But they are waiting for Ederson to have the second part of his medical with Manchester United in England before approving everything. So, verbal agreement, club to club. Documents are prepared. First part of the medical, but waiting on the second part of the medical, the official one with Manchester United. That's why Ederson is not official yet to Manchester United, and we have to wait for these steps. And then on Morten Hjulmand, guys, now Atletico Madrid are very, very, very close. Agreement done with the player. Atletico Madrid have everything in place with Morten Hjulmand, a top target for Atleti in midfield. Now working on the club to club with 5 million euros difference between Atletico and Sporting. But my understanding is that Atletico are very optimistic to get the deal done for Morten Hjulmand in the space of few days and to close everything with Sporting, and also in terms of travel, medical, and on the rest. So Morten Hjulmand could be the next signing after Alejandro Grimando for El Cholo. Simeone, guys, good morning, but it's time to discuss about several players, and I wanted to restart from Chelsea. Because for Chelsea it's going to be an important week, the next one. For Granit Xhaka, as I told you in the last video, the situation has gone completely cold and also silent, because Sunderland have been very clear, the player is not for sale, so Chelsea only can give up. It's not about the money, it's not about offering £8 million, £10 million, £15 million, it's not about the money. Sunderland don't want to sell the player. Chelsea next week will keep on going with negotiations for two players. One is Pep Echevarria, the left back from Rayo Vallecano. Chelsea have an agreement with the player, and Chelsea are expected to return to the table next week with Rayo to try advance on this deal. So don't forget on Pep Echevarria, and also Maxence Lacroix. In the recent days, this name in the media has gone a little bit quiet, but I'm told that behind the scenes Chelsea are maintaining active contacts for Maxence Lacroix. Two things are important. The pricing, because Crystal Palace are still asking for big money, but Chelsea remain in conversations. and then the replacement. Because we know Crystal Palace, when it's time to sell a really important player, you remember 1 year ago with Marghetti till the very end of the summer transfer window, they want to find the right replacement. So that's an important point. But these two deals for Chelsea remain in conversations, and so we have to track and follow these two stories in the next days. But for sure, Chelsea keep working on these two. Meanwhile, Chelsea close an exit because Tyreke George, the winger from Chelsea, leaves the club and goes to Everton. For a transfer fee close to £24 million. Everything has been agreed between the parties, between Everton and Chelsea. It's going to be a permanent transfer for Tyreke George, all set on player side, all agreed between the clubs, and so Tyreke George to Everton from Chelsea is here we go. Talking about wingers, we have plenty of things to say, guys, on big names. One is Marcus Rashford. Rashford spoke ahead of England game against Mexico, and he made clear if they wanted a decision from me on a transfer, they had to make it happen before the World Cup. During the World Cup, so now, these days, I'm not going to entertain any negotiation. I want to focus on the pitch. So the message from Rashford has been very clear, very honest. He's not going to discuss with any club at this point. Manchester United remain ready and convinced they can absolutely find an opportunity to reintegrate Marcus Rashford as part of their squad in the pre-season. That's the communication they made 1 week ago to the agents of the player. So United want to count on Marcus Rashford for the pre-season. After that, they will evaluate offers, the player and the club. So it's not guaranteed that Rashford stays, but the player will not discuss his future until he's at the World Cup. After the World Cup, back to Man United, back to training, and then they will clarify everything with the player as soon as they have the opportunity to do it. So that's the story around Rashford. Yan Diomande, negotiations continue. Paris Saint-Germain, Red Bull Leipzig. For sure, more than 100 million euros are needed to sign the player this summer. If Paris Saint-Germain want to follow Red Bull Leipzig, they could sign the player now for 2027 and the price is going to be lower. But if they want the player immediately and also the player would like to go to Paris Saint-Germain now, the price has to be higher. So higher than 100 million euros. That's the point. Paris Saint-Germain remain in conversations for Yan Diomande and also for Magnus Akliush. So Paris Saint-Germain keep working on additions. Then, in terms of exits, the name of Randal Colomoni remains absolutely there because Juventus made an opening bid for Randal Colomoni. It's a bid in excess of 30 million euros. Paris Saint-Germain want more, so there is still no club-to-club agreement. There is an agreement Juventus-Colomoni on the contract, no club-to-club yet, but also the exit of Colomoni can facilitate incoming for Paris Saint-Germain because it's extra money and also extra space. In terms of space, I keep telling you, keep an eye on Bradley Barcola. Many of you asking me, it's true that he prefers a club more than another. At this stage, guys, I can guarantee that Barcola is keeping everything open. First point, till he's at the World Cup with France, nothing will happen. Second point, Paris Saint-Germain want big money. Third point, he's not for sale, sorry for the wording, but Barcola is not considered a player who is untouchable at Paris Saint-Germain, according to my information. He's an important player for PSG, but he's not untouchable. It means that PSG would be happy to continue with him. But if a big proposal arrives to the player and also to Paris Saint-Germain, we still have to keep an eye on Barcola. Liverpool are there, guys. Don't forget Liverpool. Liverpool are there, and also Arsenal, both clubs. But Arsenal priority is Morgan Rogers. So Barcola, Arsenal is a possibility if Morgan Rogers doesn't happen. That's the reality as of today. Priority, Morgan Rogers. For Liverpool, Barcola is in the highest position at winger targets. Then, talking about more things happening and more names to watch. Jurgen Klopp will be the new coach of the German national team. The deal is being finalized these days, these hours. So Jurgen Klopp on his way back to training, and that's a fantastic news for football in general. Julian Nagelsmann is out of the German national team, but to have Klopp back is fantastic. And so after taking some time, 2 years, working for Red Bull Group, okay, in a different position, still involved in football, having some interviews, working with some TVs, okay, but we need to see Jurgen Klopp on the touchline, and he's back. So he's going to be the new coach of the German national team. We have to talk also about 2 more players, and these players are Rafa Leao and Dusan Vlahovic. because for these two players from Serie A, there will be movement in the next weeks of transfer window. Because Rafa Leao is doing well at the World Cup, but Rafa Leao remains available on the market. For AC Milan, according to my information, Leao is a player available on the market. So if a good proposal arrives, Leao wants to go and he doesn't want to stay in Italy. He wants to try a new chapter in another country. And also AC Milan are ready to sell. So keep an eye on Rafa Leao because his transfer can still happen despite the arrival of a Portuguese coach like Ruben Amorim. Despite the connection with the new signing, Portuguese, Gonçalo Ramos, they are very good friends, and also we saw the assist from Rafa Leao for Gonçalo Ramos in the last game of Portugal against Croatia. Apart all of this, the reality on the market is that Rafa Leao can still leave the club in this summer transfer window. So watch out for Rafa Leao. And then Dusan Vlahovic. Vlahovic is available as a free agent. Vlahovic has a big proposal from Besiktas, financially what he wanted, but Vlahovic is waiting to say yes to Besiktas because he still hopes to receive a proposal from an important club in Europe. Vlahovic camp believes that maybe in the next weeks there could be more movements, so Vlahovic is leaving Juventus as a free agent. Don't forget, Vlahovic is available on a free, and he's opening doors to any possibilities. So for sure, a situation to watch, the one of Dusan Vlahovic. And then, guys, let me close with something also regarding Italian clubs, as we are talking about Italian clubs. But one of the players appreciated by Como at centre-back position is also not only Trevoh Chalobah. Como and Inter are working on this deal. Let's see who is going to sign Chelsea centre-back who want to go to Italy. But also Mamadou Sarr from Chelsea is a player appreciated by Como. A player considered eventually on loan. It's just an internal conversation at the moment. But Mamadou Sarr, born in 2005, talented defender, is a player that Como like. We have to understand if Chelsea would open doors to a loan or not. At the moment it's not clear. Chelsea have not decided anything. But I can confirm there is interest from several clubs. Of course, this is going to be in Chelsea hands, because Chelsea recalled Mamadou Sarr in the last few months and they trust in him for the future. And so guys, let me your thoughts on all these stories. As always, here in the comments, remember to like this video, to turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and see you soon.